Do you remember the crazy lightning storm that happened when we rehearsed this scene?
Fantastic.
And we just wished that we could have just grabbed some sort of Steadicam and shot the scene in that crazy flashing storm.
I do like this moment between you, though. I think this is
guys are
really...
great in this.
Yeah.
I like that it feels like it's born out of the frustration that they're both making mistakes, that they're both trying to be good leaders and good men, but actually they're just sort of bullish, teenagers. They're both trying to be the best that they can be, and it's real frustration from both sides.
I think also it's, they're actually really angry and sad at each other. I mean, at themselves.
And take it out
and
on
they take
each
it out
other.
on each
Yes,
other,
exactly.
but it's really the pain is inside on themselves, and they don't know where to put it except on each other.
This is also the scene when you find out that Warwick Knickerbrick is actually evil. Really?
Well, he isn't evil, he just goes to the dark side.
Yes, well, could be classed as... Oh, look at that, it's horrible.
But at the end of the day, he is, he seduces Caspian to thinking that, alternative powers, should be conjured in order to stop Miraz. They want the same thing.
Yeah, it's just the way in which they're going about it. Warwick does love playing bad, though.
He's so good at it.
He revels in
very
it.
good at
He
it.
revels in it. He would do these filthy laughs at the end of every take, which I'm sure you cut out most of the time. But whenever you yelled cut, he would rub his hands together and giggle.
This costume's
Yeah,
amazing.
this shot,
The music.
must have shot at like 90 frames or something, because
Yeah, it's shot into a few different frame
The
rates.
cloak,
it's so beautiful.
the fur and everything.
Just the way he walks.
That shot in there was mainly there for the chandelier. We built this incredible chandelier that Kerry had made for the set, and it was phenomenal, and it was hard to get in because it was such a big space. And I promised her I'd find one shot where we actually got to see it.
I remember for that,
Oh, I love that.
for that crown, Sergio and I both had to do a kind of entire head mould where we had to sit there with our shirts off, where they pour this sort of plaster of Paris over your head, and then and I remember Sergio hated it and said that they had to kind of break him out of it halfway through, and then once they sort of did all the measurements and everything, they went, yeah, their heads are about the same size, we can just make one.
And the good thing about this is that the music is so different to all of like there's not been any music like this in Narnia before, so it
No,
kind
it's
of
true, it's very-
so it kind of really evokes the sense of Telmarine-ishness.
I love that Anna's 3D, but we're all 2D.
Well, there was another scene in here, or more dialogue in here from earlier in the film.
Your kings and queens have failed us.
Yeah, Harry had to come up with a number of more themes for this movie. Obviously the theme for Caspian, but then as you're mentioning the Telmarine theme. And there's actually something that musically happens as the stories weave together and you get to the battle at the end, the themes are weaving together as well.
Oh wow!
So do we. You want his throne? We can.
If you'd seen this film before Harry's score went in and after, you'd be really amazed at how much the themes and music really help keeping the pace and propelling the story. And I think it's really a great example of score actually telling the story.
Well, it's using so many instruments, so expressive.
But there is a power greater.
Here we go, here's Warwick and his evil best.
One that kept even
Wasn't this when it was Edmund Saves the Day?
I think it was later on in this scene was Edmund Saves the Day. Yeah.
You Save the Day sequence.
I think this is the scariest bit of the whole film, when this creature comes out.
Another one of Shane Rangi's creations, the werewolf.
And this werewolf is a combination of CG and an incredible animatronic that Howard Berger and the Can B team built, and it was scary.
I didn't realise it was an animatronic head. I thought it was just a sort of fake wolf head, and I went up and looked at it and didn't realise that Shane was sitting in the suit, and somebody with the remote control was nearby, and he just sort of growled at me and moved it, and I jumped.
We actually had a school group touring one of the days we were shooting, and I suddenly heard screams from the hallway and went out there, and Shane was in the full rigmarole, like lunging at kids. It was really fun.
I think the hag is terrifying, though.
Yeah,
Really
she's-
terrifying.
Yeah,
The
I mean,
fantastic thing
And it
about
was
it was a Czech actress.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
And she was making this. She invented this song, didn't she? That she sings.
She
And
did.
she invented the language.
Well,
she
it
was
was,
using parts of Arabic and parts of Czech. And
Yes, I
parts
think her father is Arabic, and she kind of remembered words and sounds from a nursery rhyme she heard when she was a kid, and just ended up
That's it.
inventing this incantation.
She had the most kind of incredible get-up because she had these contact lenses which were bright red and really stung, and she had so much prosthetic work on her.
Yeah, she really didn't like it.
But it was incredibly uncomfortable. I can't.
Yeah, I can't
she's
imagine
amazing.
what it's like.
And also, the hags were my, like, worst fear in the first film. So to have one being brought back.
I broke that. Yeah.
I love this, the fact that she's so amazed. Granddad eyebrows.
This effect is incredible.
Yeah, it's so cool.
This was done by most of the scene was done by Weta Digital in Wellington, and then the eye, because one of the hag's eyes we decided to. I'd always had it in the back of my mind based on some of how it's designed to have asymmetrical eyes, and we had Studio C in Guatemala do the CG enhancement of one of the eyes, which just made her so much creepier than she originally was.
Hate Warwick's face in this.
Look at that.
This was Tilda finally getting to have a CG body. She was always really jealous of everyone else who got to wear blue tights all the way through the last film. And she said, why can't I have a CG body? So in this film, we gave her a CG body.
And CG hair.
And CG hair, yeah. There was always this intention of, even though it's you imagine ice as a solid, I liked the idea of a different world existing within the ice, and she was actually just trapped in that world, and that world was almost like underwater. So everything there is very ethereal and moves with the quality of being underwater.
That is so cool.
It looks like silicon, that ice. It's kind
Yeah.
of...
Well, they did it inside, it's sort of liquid,
But-
and then has this solid thing which you kind of breach.
Yeah, and it's an undefined space, even though it's only like an inch thick. It's an infinite space.
How to save the day.
This was Skandar Save the Day day.
This is a fantastic shot of you in this kind of where you kind of turn around and slash at the same time.
Oh yeah.
And he
Oh, I
again,
love
he did
that-
that flip, didn't he, Skandar?
What I love about... Yeah, this is my son! I can use my dagger
And
for
Lucy gets to
fighting.
use her dagger.
My dad can't watch that shot when I go, ah! It's like, no!
This was originally shot as a much longer fight sequence, and
Love that shot.
it's really a challenge to find the right length for this moment. And we kept kind of trimming it down. So this fight sequence could be 5 minutes long if we wanted it to be. There's so
Really?
much going on, yeah.
But what the good thing about this White Witch thing is, as well, is that with the hair all blown around, I mean, Tilda's got such an amazing bone structure.
Yeah.
To have the hair going around, she still looks like amazing.
She looks
and-
fantastic, yeah. So another subtle thing here that we added is this cold breath. The idea that if you're standing in that circle, and once you're being affected
Yeah.
by her powers, it's only the people in the circle that actually have that breath.
That's so creative, Andrew.
And who's saving the day? Who could it be?
I wonder.
Sounds like a pretty cool guy though. Must be pretty amazing to do that.
Cool girl.
Oh, wait, it's Skandar!
I love this line.
Me too.
I know.
But everybody always laughs at it. I don't think it's funny.
It is funny.
I think
It's
it's
the
very
callback to
sad.
the
Because it harks
beginning.
back to the
Yeah.
beginning.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
harks back to the beginning, and
I like how after all the things of the first film, at the end I'd kind of gone one fun, and broken her wand, but then in the end she did stab me, and yet here I was to finally stab her back.
yeah, it's actually a nice moment. I think that it closes an arc for you from the first film.
I like the fact also that although the two, although Caspian and Peter have been fighting, in that moment at the end there, they both realise that they've been as hopeless as each other.
Yes, yeah.
And that, I remember in the script it says something like, 2 boys, 2 kings, 2 failures. It's all very, dramatic.
Poetic.
But Edmund, on the other hand, saves the day.
I like this scene. This is a really nice little scene.
Those glasses must have really hurt Vincent.
I remember shooting this. Obviously, Caspian is frustrated and sad at this point. And I remember feeling very frustrated and sad this day. I remember having sort of long conversations with you about how I was frustrated. I didn't feel like I was kind of getting to the place that I wanted to, and then you sort of explained to me that the fact that I was feeling frustrated and sad was exactly the right place.
No, exactly.
I
think that's one of the things that you sometimes do as a director. You play upon someone's vulnerability.
You certainly do anyway.
And torture them.
No, but it's true. It's like I think you were putting yourself in that headspace, and I was trying to do everything I could to put you further into that headspace. And
well, it worked.
sometimes you feel a little bit mean
feeling
doing
fairly
that.
desperate.
I thought Vincent there did a great job.
It's
It
really
was
funny you say
inspiring.
that, Ben, because I just had a really hard week as well, and I was feeling exactly the same way. And we came to Friday, and I had this scene as well, and Andrew again was kind of like being Aslan for me up there, and was like saying, "Oh, you know."
That's right. I just stood up there and looked really disappointed in you.
Yeah, and it was just worked so well.
William, I love you in this scene because I think it really showcases you. It shows how far you've come, really. Like.
You used to be rubbish.
No, I don't mean like that. I mean, like, all I'm saying is, like, no, not really you, just Peter as well. Like, he's able to open up to a little annoying person like me. Or
It's very
Lucy.
nice that you guys actually don't hold it against me.
Oh, don't worry, we do, just quietly.
But that scene worked really well for me, actually.
I seem to remember
Yeah,
shooting
you-
that
you
piece
didn't-
on the
you
ledge
didn't-
about
you
4
didn't,
different
Andrew.
times.
This piece or the other?
The piece where we just lined up on the ledge there. And I know we didn't have Anna because she was off doing A-levels, so we had your double.
I'd gone AWOL to do
You'd gone
exams.
AWOL. And then we shot it on the little ledge that they built from the front.
That's
And then we shot it from the back. And we all had to be tied in.
We originally intended to shoot most of it actually on the set, which was, we didn't obviously build the full how, but we built the first 2 levels of Aslan's how. We intended to shoot it there, but it was just so difficult to shoot. One being outside and dealing with the weather, but the fact that all our close-ups had to be done from a crane. There was just no way to get a decent platform up there to be able to shoot.
So is that bit...
That was actually
shot?
on the one that was on the back lot.
Was
that
the little
close-up
one, yeah.
piece, yeah.
That armour is just unbelievably brilliant.
Yeah, the guys at
Amazing.
Weta Workshop, I
EC
think, did an amazing job of the
job,
design
yeah.
and working with EC to create all that Telmarine armour. I was very happy with it.
The masks are so
That
freaky, though.
that cut there though, it's an interesting cut because after this there's actually a scene being taken out, isn't there? The Arbiter's scene.
There's a couple of scenes in here. Again, this sort of came down to some pacing issues. That at this point the battle was heating up, and at some point you knew you were going to get into this big battle, and at a certain point the audience patience to get there
Yeah.
is difficult to balance out, and so things tended to get shorter and shorter in this portion.
I think it's a really cute scene for Trumpkin because you kind of see his more,
Vulnerable side.
yeah, and he's really caring as well, and you've seen him being very gruff and.
Miraz, maybe.
And you hear David Williams.
And a murderer.
Is it David?
It is David, and he's so underutilised. I have to say, I was so happy to have him do this, and because we ended up cutting what we called the picking Marshall scene from the book, we didn't get to use David's scene, and it really is. I mean, I'm sure we'll put it on the DVD, but it's really a lovely scene.
Poor David.
Perhaps they intend to surrender.
And this next scene is something that Skandar was looking forward to a long time, something to get his teeth into here.
It's my only scene with continuous dialogue. It's true.
I, Peter.
I love
so
the fact that
scared about learning
Wimpleweather's like lounging.
You were scared of learning this?
Well, no, yeah, I was, and then they gave it to me on a big piece of paper.
You
And I had to learn how to read.
With just my title on it.
It's a very nice moment between you and Sergio, and it's great the fact that you guys did a movie together when you were how old?
9.
9, yeah.
7 years
It
later.
was sort of great that you got to do this scene
I
together.
think this is hilarious.
Pardon me?
It's King.
How posh I sound.
But also, I think it's a good example of how, the writers having known, the actors from the first film, have kind of, you can hear Skandar saying this dialogue before you've heard him say it.
Right.
If you read it, you can tell it's been written for him.
Haven't you already
I remember sometimes what you were saying earlier about how incredible Sergio was, and and how I sort of do some things, and sometimes I whisper and sometimes I shout. And I remember one point he suddenly did this really powerful line and yelled it. And as I was suddenly I was thinking, wow, that was really good. And I was completely blown away. And then he was like, it's your line now. And I was like, oh.
It's so powerful sometimes to the exact opposite of what you expect. You expect the reaction to be angry and he'll just laugh. And it's sometimes so much more powerful.
Can I just say that I love
I think that
the
might have
earring.
been it.
I love Sergio's earring. It completely contributes to the whole pirate feel. It's cool.
His Majesty would never refuse.
Pier Francesco is so cool in this scene as well. Apart from you, Skandar.
They say that the
Just the
Marines
look
were descended from pirate men and Pacific Islander women. Is that the description?
Basically, that would have been what it worked out as in the book. It was pirates that ran aground on, assumedly, a Pacific island or maybe somewhere in the Mediterranean. I'm not sure.
Your brother's sword is sharper than his pen.
So in my opinion, it makes absolutely no sense for Caspian to be described as blonde like he is in the book.
No, exactly.
So we're pleased we ran entirely the opposite direction.
No, this is another example of trying to keep a horse still. Well done, Anna.
I was in a hurry at this stage because I have my leavers ball in the evening, and Andrew noticed I was looking a bit glum on set, so he changed.
In England, which is should point out.
In England, yeah, we were in Prague at this point, and it was a Saturday that we were shooting on, and Andrew saw I was looking a little down and asked me what was wrong. I sort of told him in a mopey voice, and he changed the shots around so that I could get to the airport and get back to my ball.
I think
on
you'd
time.
cancelled your flight, and I said to reinstate it, and they said, that's all right, we never really cancelled it. And you pretty much galloped out here and just kept galloping. We only did one take of this because we only
I was
we
pulling
only had
armour off as I
time.
went back to my trailer.
Yeah, exactly.
Just kind of.
This scene, basically what happened was, I got my full armour gear, I was really
We
ready
got
to-
in our full armour.
Alright, Scanner and I got our full
I
armour.
was here with you.
Okay.
I know. I'm there. Look there.
Okay,
Right
Scanner was
Right
a good
there
3
next
miles
to you.
behind me. And basically, Andrew, who's playing a lot of music at this point, was playing Kanye West as we were walking out. So what?
Well, that was only because I wanted to stop playing Eye of the Tiger, which was your request.
I think it's awesome. I got, listen, so right now, Scanner and I are listening to Jesus Walks.
So is that your
by
Kanye West impression?
Yeah, that's it right there. And it was actually really fun. It actually really helped to get amped up for the scene.
We used a
when
lot
we
of
were
music
acting
on
on
this
in
location,
Ventura.
actually. This
Yeah,
was
we did.
great. The other fun thing was playing You Gotta Have Faith, George Michael, every time it rained.
Oh,
'Cause it
yeah.
got all the centaurs
Or
dancing.
Here Comes the Sun.
Or
Yes,
singing
yes.
in the rain.
Why does it always rain on me?
Yes.
By Travis.
Or I Won't Grow Up from the music
So-
of Peter Pan. For some
That was
reason,
Ben's
this
theme
was
tune.
my
Ben's
theme
theme,
tune
yes.
that I did not choose myself.
I got Bob Dylan. I was happy. That was mine.
I didn't have a theme tune.
So with this fight, Alan Poppleton, stunt coordinator, and myself, we basically had like a 110 beat fight in the end, and I learned that in probably like about 3 days. But this was one fight, one part of the film that I was so excited about shooting. It was really
I
like,
was so ill.
even in the book, this was something that I was really looking forward to, and it really lived up to my expectations.
The first beat is amazing as well.
It was a big
I don't want
challenge.
to talk to you in
It
this
was a
bit 'cause
huge
it's so.
challenge.
It was a big challenge to shoot because it's again a situation we've seen a lot of times. A couple of guys with the swords, fighting, and working with Alan and Walter and the whole camera team to try and figure out how to make it different from other sword fights we've seen before. And Alan kind of made it a lot more sort of hand to hand in terms of losing swords and shields and getting a little bit more physical. And then we shot it in a number of different ways: huge techno cranes, cameras mounted in shields. We shot it with a circular track rotating around with 3 different cameras on, and then that gave us a lot of flexibility in the editorial.
See, this was,
So awesome.
this was all second unit work, and I remember the horse masters being right at the end of the track and Anna doing an amazing job steering the horse through, but you can see I'm about to fall off.
Yeah, she did nearly come off at one point.
And I remember I'd never fallen off, and I was really worried I was going to fall off, and I was basically yelled, heard cut, and screamed, going, "I'm falling off!" and got put back on.
It's weird. I've never ridden with 2 hands on the reins.
I absolutely love this shot of Anna. I think this is one of the best shots.
It looks
The
so
light is
pretty.
amazing.
It's beautiful.
That's all natural, isn't it? Or...
The light is natural. The smoke we pumped in
Yeah.
and shot in the South Island of New Zealand.
It's like she knows she's gonna die. It's so cool.
It's like that's the last time I'm going to see my sister. This was so cool to watch because the horses were going at such a massive amount of speed.
There's a shot in here actually when a guy comes off a horse and the horse rides right at Anna and she doesn't flinch. We all thought she was going to get run down, and you look at it, was that the one that just went by there? And she just doesn't even flinch as this horse comes at her. There we go.
There.
And I love this bit always makes me laugh. Prince Caspian comes in and kills one guy when she's just killed about 10 of them with a bow.
and he gets the heroic music.
And he just takes all the credit
There's
for
only
it.
one left.
It's kind of a
Start
joke.
killing invisible.
I always meant to shoot that line of you, which we were going to pick up afterwards, where
Yeah.
you just saying, couldn't you have come 10 minutes ago?
I know, exactly. Like, she just killed about 10 of them.
That swing up onto the horse was really hard to do, though. That was one of the first things we did in New Zealand.
That
Well, it was also hard to get Ben to do it without gritting his teeth.
Yeah.
Because I remember we did a couple of takes and we're like, can you make Anna look a little less heavy?
with
Or make
that-
yourself look a little more strong.